Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we do the third part of Claire, Her Grandfather, the story of a young native girl from the Odawa tribe of eastern Canada. Grandfather had more to tell. Claire, what did you eat for dinner last night? He asked. Mom and Dad both smiled. We had squash and corn, wild rice, turkey, and mashed potatoes, I told Grandfather. Oh, and pumpkin pie too, my favorite. Grandfather laughed. Well, except for the potatoes, which primarily came from Aboriginal people in South America. You ate the kinds of foods that First Nations enjoyed for hundreds of years before Europeans came to this country. I learned that smoked salmon and maple syrup came from First Nations too. I couldn't imagine eating pancakes for breakfast without maple syrup. Grandfather said, First Nations like the Cayuga, Mohawk, and the Seneca all raise corn, beans, and squash in their gardens. They named these plants the Three Sisters and planted corn and beans together in the same mound. The stalks of the corn supported the climbing beans. We planted squash at the same time, and it grew on the flat ground between the mounds. Broad squash leaves help keep too many weeds from growing. Aboriginal people have a lot to teach the world about farming and nature. There's the Three Sisters. You can see corn is growing, beans are growing up beside it, and squash are on the ground. But I want to talk about my food. My stomach let out a loud rumble. Grandfather laughed again. Grandmother's cooking used to make my stomach growl just like that. He said, luckily, Grandmother knew almost every plant to settle my stomach. First Nations Inuit knew many things about plants and animals. They knew how to use many plants as food or medicine. They passed this knowledge down through time, and it's still used today. Claire, your grandmother knew more about plants than anyone I ever met, Dad told me. She even knew about a kind of moss that was used as a baby's diaper. Remember that time when Alex was sick and Grandmother boiled up some wintergreen to help his stomach? Asked Mom. I sure do, remarked Dad. Alex got better right away, and we could finally get some sleep. Grandmother seems to know how to cure just about anything using the medicine from plants, said Grandfather. With Grandmother around, you didn't need a first aid kit. She could find whatever she needed in the plants growing around her. Claire, did you know that First Nations created one of Canada's national games? Alex asked me. Hockey? I asked. Actually, it's lacrosse, laughed Alex. That's right, said Grandfather. Lacrosse is a fast-running sport played with a hard rubber ball and special hook sticks, kind of a net to catch the ball. There are lacrosse leagues all over Canada, the United States, and in other countries. In many ways, lacrosse is like hockey, Mom said, but it's played with a ball in the air most of the time, and there's no ice. Some people say that hockey comes from the game of lacrosse. I've heard some elders laugh and say the word hockey is from the Mohawk word aki, pronounced agi. It means ouch, or that hurts. That's what Mohawk lacrosse players would say when they got hit with a hard ball. There's hockey, there's a volleyball, and water polo. Grandfather said the Mi'kmaq in Nova Scotia played a game called Ricket, which was a lot like hockey too. Then he added, did you know that there are many great Aboriginal hockey players? Years ago, a lot of people like George Armstrong, the captain of the Maple Leafs. He was very popular. I always liked Johnny Busick, 2 Stanley Cups and more than 500 goals. Then there are the younger players like Gino Ojic, Jordan Tutu, Chris Simon, Blair Atchingham, Craig Berube, and many others. If you click on this YouTube link below, you can see a picture of Jordan Tutu, quite a good hockey player. Mom said in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia, Juanique Horn-Miller was the co-captain of the Canadian water polo team. She's carrying on the history of Aboriginal people competing in the Olympics. World-class athletes like Tom Longboat, Alvin Morris, and Angela Chalmers were all Aboriginal medal winners in the Olympic Games. And here down below, there's a gold medal race by Alvin Morris and Hugh Fisher back in, I think it's the 84 Olympics. It's quite an old video, so you'll see some of the differences between now and today. Quite a good race. Grandfather told me that Aboriginal people have always been great athletes, all the way back to the time when the Coast Salish peoples competed in canoe racing along the coast of what is now called British Columbia. Everyone knows about the Olympics, Grandfather said, but many people are also learning about the North American Indigenous Games. They're held every year. Thousands of Aboriginal athletes come together from all over North America to compete and learn about each other's ways of doing things. They compete in modern sports and also do demonstrations of traditional competitive sports like the Inuit 1-foot high kick. If you want to watch some traditional native sports, see the video below. There's another picture. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you can color that if you want. And that's it for Claire's grandfather's story. Claire and her grandfather's story. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you learned a little bit about Aboriginal people you didn't know before.